United States ever went through. Two major ones here. First one in 1811, second one in 1853. Of course, we had some before, after, and in between. When you read Mr. Cable's book, though, he's going to tell you in 1853, he remembers very clearly standing at this intersection when he's 9 years old, and then describes for you how in every direction, as far as the eye could see, there were bodies. He's describing them as stacked like cordwood, chest high. So I would imagine chest high to a 9-year-old is probably about as tall as these black posts here. Yeah, the yellow fever epidemic of 1853 claimed close to 10,000 lives. They were lining up these corpses right here at this intersection for a very good reason. Area around the Victorian times. They, of course, put their cemeteries at crossroads because they believed when the spirit emerges from the grave, they're going to look at that intersection, become confused. They shouldn't know which way to get home and haunt their own relatives. This is all to protect the living. We let those 10,000 bodies sit here for about a week because we thought that was going to be adequate time to give them, the ability to get out of their bodies and get lost, stuck here at this intersection. Then after that, yeah, well, hey. Then they started putting them all in mass graves. That's why Elysian Fields, street after Esplanade, has the name Elysian Fields. Well, one plaque got a meeting. But I got. Okay, was a blacksmith shop, which according to history or legend was owned by Jean Lafitte, the pirate. I prefer to call him the maritime mobster because I think it's a much more apt description. Here's what you need to realize. On the island of Barataria, just off our coast, that's where all of his ships made berth. He has over 2,000 men under his command, about 4 dozen vessels parked out there. 500 women that are living on the island with those pirates. Now the ladies had a job. Their primary job was when they come back with the loot, it's their responsibility to divide everything up, categorize it, put them in crates, label them, and then make sure they're all delivered to the right warehouses, plural. This guy's not small time. I mean, here's a man who literally had his finger in every black market pie the city could offer. That's why we're on agreement. What better front for a black market operation than a blacksmith shop? Anybody can walk in there, very rich, very poor. This is not going to raise any suspicion. So he could deal with everyone with that. So today it's this is one of the 4 original structures left of our city. It's what's called a brick and post combination building, which is very common for the early French settlers. So if any of you guys took a moment to explore the inside, you might have noticed the very back room where they have the piano set up, that's entirely brick. So that's not original. I've got a photograph of this building from the 1920s where that room's not there, so we think it was added in the 1940s. So, when you walk by the ladies' room, this right-hand turn like you're going to the men's room. Before you get to that, behind the table, up against the wall on your right, is where people have seen a man standing. He's been described as very weathered. He has a sun-bleached beard, close-fitting fur cap, a wool mariner's coat, and he's either been seen with or without a trickle of blood coming from the corner of his mouth. What I think happened was, years before that room was added on, there was a deal going on behind the building. Somebody didn't like the way it was progressing, so they simply pinned him up against the wall, sing, gutted him right there. This guy has been seen walking about a few times. One of their bartenders, Jason, he remembers watching him come around the waiter station, walk in front of the bar, and exit out that side door, right here on St. Philip Street. That door was closed. So first of all, he walks through a solid object. That's not what messed up Jason's head. The part that freaked him out, he didn't acknowledge that big step down right in front of the bar. Just glides on by like it didn't exist to him.